Okay, so welcome to this review. We're going to review a match from a range that I like to call 20DK, which is the range from 30 to 20k. So we're going to start now. So we start with the double pincer. Not too much to say about this. I like this. Now, here, there's something very important. So, a big question or a big thing about when to play as solid as this. It's like we have to be wary of when to do solid shapes. So basically, if we have like a random stone somewhere and this stone is touch, then we probably want to enforce like some strength into this. So we can extend, we can hane, and that's pretty much the only options when we get touch. The only like a third option would be a tenuki, just ignore. Everything else is not that great. But of course, this is because the stone one is under pressure. It's under direct pressure. Okay? That's why we need to extend its liberties. Or take some liberties away from the attack, right? In this situation though, the stone it's also under pressure, but it's not like on liberty pressure. Like nobody's taking liberties from it. What it's being taken from this stone is access to the center, pretty much. So the access to the center is a little bit restricted. That's the only thing it's being taken away from this stone, nothing else. So basically, if we get another like white stone here on a center, then this stone can never go to the center. Now, if we get another on the corner, then this stone can go to the side, and maybe now we want to reinforce it a little bit, okay? If it's taken from the side, then it can go either a little bit to the center still, and definitely to the corner. So basically, what's going on here is the pressure, since this is a fifth line stone, its pressure is not completely direct, let's say, so we don't want to reinforce this stone like this. If we are, let's say, worried about triangle stone, right here, if we are worried, then we just want to stabilize. And how do we stabilize an alone stone in the third line? It's just a two space jump if we want the side. That's how we stabilize. Now, a different situation will be something like this, which is called the kick. The kick is a direct, so like we have a keima from one stone to an opponent's stone, and then we do a Kasumi touching the opponent's stone. The kick, it's answer with a pillar. And that's because the pillar prevents this play right here, which is way too strong. It's way too strong. It's like good shape for white. The black stone is not doing anything. It's too strong. So to prevent that, we play the pillar. And this also puts some pressure on white's shape, because this is a weak point of the Kasumi once it has a pillar on this side. Okay? This shape comes up a lot in Go. And X is usually the weak point a lot of the time. So because of that, you can do a pillar, because white, it's probably gonna fix X either here or here, and then you have time to fix your pillar. Let's say if you don't like your pillar to be alone, it's not necessary to fix it, but you can do it, right? On this situation, this is not a kick. This is white just wants to separate black going to the center. Okay, that's it. There's no kick, so there's no reason to reinforce like this. This is very inefficient, let's say. Okay, things you can do, again, if you just want to go fundamentals, third line, two space extension, always solid, pretty much. Or you can go for the corner. Since white already took center, any side white chooses, it's probably gonna be fine for you. Like this seems fine for the most part. You can always sacrifice one side to take the corner, and that's gonna be a win, you know? Like that's fine. So if you pincer like this and white escapes, you can always take the corner. Okay. So again, never play this solid if the stone is not in direct contact, or if, let's say, you're closing something. For example, if you let's say you do this and then we play a lot. I don't know. Just a lot, and maybe white plays here or here. Then maybe you want to play solid, just to enclose this whole corner. Okay, that's a situation where maybe you want to play solid, just to assure that nothing's gonna happen here. Like this is 7 is not a good play, but it's also not that bad. Okay. Whereas this extension is just not doing anything, because there's no pressure, direct pressure into this stone. It has many options. So this kind of restricts its options in a way. Okay. All right. So something that happened here is white got something in the side, black got something in corner side. So it's kind of an alright exchange. Okay. At this level, it's fine. Okay. So extension. Okay, let's talk about this. So white, this is one of the worst approaches you can do. Okay, it's definitely not like minus a lot, but it's something we want to avoid in general. When we talk about how to approach a corner, we usually want to take a look at some just only a couple options. So there's like the one space jump, there's the Keima, 2 space jump, large Keima, and then like contact. Okay, at least on the Komoku, the 3/4. The only place where we play like a diagonal move would be a 3/3 invasion, like this. So this is very common. Okay, but if it's not a 3/3 invasion, there is almost no situation where you want to approach a corner with a diagonal move. Okay? Diagonal moves work as shoulder hits, like here, for example, like attacking 4th line with 5th line or 3rd line with 4th line, things like that. For example, if we have 2 stones like this, on 3rd stone, you can do a shoulder hit somewhere here on the 4th line, and this is meant to reduce territory or influence. Okay, so this is a light move usually, to be used for reductions usually. But here we're not really looking at reductions yet, because there's still so much space. There's a lot of space here. There's a lot of space here. A lot of space here. The game's still quite open. Okay? Everything in these regions will survive. There's no way to kill it. It's impossible. Okay? If you want to kill it, you're probably gonna lose, because you're gonna leave weaknesses while you're killing it. And that's bad. We don't want to leave weaknesses. Okay? So, since that is true, a contact is usually not the best idea. I mean, or rather, let's paraphrase that. Contacts can be good. You can play like this, but this is usually like a less effective contact, let's say. Okay? And especially if it's too high from here. Okay? But let's see how we answer. So we just cover that, and then like this. So the problem here with this play right here is that we are separating ourselves. Okay? So from here, white can just separate more, and like, I don't know, maybe do something like this. And this is kind of a right for both. If we actually gonna want to go this way, let's say towards this stone, probably something like this or this is better. Now, the thing is, in my opinion, this side is smaller than this. I think we can all agree on that, right? We already have a stone here in the side. Whereas here, there aren't any black stones in the side. I mean, there's like these ones, but they're pretty far away still. Whereas this one is relatively close. So just by thinking about that, I think sliding this way, it's probably more effective. Because we're closing the corner. Remember, it's always good to remember corner, then side, then center. That rule of thumb, it's pretty much always true. It almost doesn't matter which level you are. And the only exceptions is when, you're fighting for big influence, big power, and defending groups that are not stable yet. Like, for example, these groups are very stable, so we don't really want to play close to this, right? Like this quadrant right here, or eighth of the board, it's really uninteresting because there's nothing going on there. Everything's stable. Whereas here, there's a situation which is we still don't know where these groups are gonna go. But what we know is that this side is a little bit more boring because there is already a black stone, and this side is bigger. Okay? So our direction of play should go in this direction, in my opinion. Okay? So either pushing, so white keeps pushing and then sliding, or slide immediately, things like that. Okay? Now, white puts pressure here. We get something like this. Descending, I don't like it very much, but it's fine. It's not that bad. Now, white descends again. From here, the best you can do, since this group got kind of isolated, because white took the bigger side. So it's projecting strength this way. And since we got kind of isolated, now is a very good moment to connect. This move right here connects, because if white tries to do something, that's a ladder, and so white needs to start like fighting and try to live here. And in general, black is better. Like, even if white leaves here, it's probably fine, because it has to leave. It has to do something about it. It has to find some eye shape somewhere, and it's probably gonna be on Gote if it doesn't die, right? So this pretty much connects. Almost impossible to cut this. It's like a hard fight for white. So white's probably just gonna leave it and go somewhere else. Maybe, it can take a sure this side or something like that. Okay? So this is a situation where you want to connect, because we no longer have this direction open. So just connecting, it's probably gonna solve a lot of problems. And why do I say that? Because this shape right here, if it gets too much white around it, there starts to be a weak point here. And if we have to defend this while white is making a wall, then that's gonna give trouble in this side for the end game, because we're gonna lose a lot of points because we have a wall and white can just jump into it. And it's a pretty high wall too. It's on 4th line. So it's hard to make territory if there is a wall here. Okay? Now here's something. Never, ever, and I repeat, never ever descend to 1st line unless the life of a group depends on that. And by that, I mean last result. Okay? So here, there's 2 sides. One in 1st line and one in 3rd line. So even if there's nothing here, even if there's 0 stones on this side, if you want to make this leave, you should 200% always go this direction. And minus 100% go in this direction. Never ever answer this stone right here on the middle game. Never ever, okay? If white does later something like this, is Jose. Something like this is Jose. The life of your group won't depend on that. Those are little points that are gonna be important at the end of the game, not before. So always search for bigger space. Then think about life. Okay? Now you can think about and just keep. Okay. Wall for points. And now next move, you have Sente. You can play here. You can play anywhere, right? Play until you are completely safe. It's alive. This, if it goes down again, you don't know if it's alive or if it goes here. It's a problem. It's a Sumego on this level, okay? Like I know the result, but we don't know it on 20k yet. So avoid those problems. Don't solve Sumegos yet. You don't need to solve a Sumego here. You just need a bigger group, okay? Let's go back. So descend. Never connect like this, because this shape is awful. Remember, white can descend, and then this cut right here, the two triangle stones that are cut, are gonna start having trouble. Okay, so if you want to connect with your friends. Okay, if there's 3 stones here with a Hane, nothing happens here. There's no weaknesses here most of the time. Okay, the weakness you might be thinking about is this one, when things are like this, when there's 2 stones here, like 1, 2, then there is a weakness here, which is the X. Okay, but if there's 3, then X is only a weakness if throwing white in this direction can be bad. Okay, that won't be bad if we just connect this way with the rest of the groups. Another option, also good shape, is this. Okay, there's this shape right here, this, and this. I don't know why you're putting triangles on my stones. I have no idea what's going on there, but this shape right here, I think it's called like a table or something like that. Super good shape. Extremely good shape. Okay? One of the best shapes in Go. If you add a stone to that, it's even better. And that's kind of like what's going on here. This happens a lot of time, where you have there's a lot of pressure into stones that are, 2 stones like this and 2 stones like this, and it looks like there is a cut here. A lot of the time, this stone right here fixes so many of those problems. It's very good shape, okay? So if you can look for that, you should start looking for it in your games. So 1, much better than this connection. With this connection, white can still descend, and the pressure on black is still strong. Okay, and black is not gonna die, but that's not the point. It doesn't matter if black dies or not. The thing is, when white descends, black has to leave. This causes damage to this side. That is the problem. Okay, so let's see what's going on. Again, here, no reason to just descend. You can probably Hane, but it doesn't matter. There's not too much difference. Now, this is important. So we need to talk about, let's talk about walls. So when you have a wall somewhere, walls project strength in a certain direction. So this wall, there's a little wall here. This project strength in this direction. Okay? That means everything that is close to this wall in this direction, it's hard to make anything there. It's hard to fight. It's hard to make territory. It's hard. Everything's hard for black in this direction. Okay? So, for example, the same is true here. So there's a wall here, and there is a cut, but the ladder is for white. That means there's not a cut. Okay? Which means all of this is a wall, and this wall projects strength here. Which means if we attack it too close, let's say something like this, white can attack from the other side, for example. Okay? Or maybe just do stuff like this. But the thing is, the territory we make close to a wall is always gonna be a little bit small. So moves like this, white can still do this, this, and this. This is the monkey jump. It's a Tsuji, usually used for Joseph or endgame. There is no way to disconnect this with black. It's impossible. Okay? It's just completely impossible. And so that means the territory here, there is no territory because there is a wall here. Like, maybe we can do something like this to try to do something, but there might still be a little bit of a problem here. Okay? Like, we need to read it, but what I want you to have from this is that if there is already a wall here, the territory I can make here is really small, and it's really slow too. We're still on middle game, so there's a lot of space here, here, there is more space here, etc. There is some space here, but not too much because there is strength in this direction and strength in this direction, and that usually makes this space like smaller, right? So I think we shouldn't be thinking about territory in this part yet, okay? Especially because we decided to play these two stones high. These are fourth line stones, which means they probably are looking more to the center than for territory, okay? It would be a different situation if this were 3-line maybe. Although this is still like hard to close territory. I'm probably not very useful at this point. Like, this is actually more territory. These are a lot more points than closing too close to the wall, for example. Okay? So yeah, white here fixes or tries to fix a cut that, like I said before, this is not a cut. This is a ladder. If let's say white plays here, if black cuts, this is just a ladder. And it's a ladder for white because there are 0 black stones here. So there's no reason to fix this cut. If you wanna help this group, you can play far from its strength because it's already powerful. Okay? So very high stone. I think if you want to be more safe, again, this is probably more safe because it's a Dai Gema, super long knight's move from another stone. That's usually a kind of a good move in general on the side of the board. It's a good structure from 3rd line to 4th line. There's almost never like a reason to not do that if you want. Like, for example, you have it here. That's just cool. And you're also enclosing this corner more. Why that's important? Because if we just go here to the center, remember, we go to the center to make fights, to have influence. But there are no fights here. The center doesn't have anything. So the center is boring right now. The center will be interesting once someone runs to the center, right? Like let's say we go here. I'm not saying this is a good move, but for example, if this goes here and suddenly there is no base, okay, now I run to the center. And now the center is interesting because there's something's going on. There's a reason to play on the center, okay? But on this side, there's not really a reason to play in the center. So if we play in a center, well, white can still take this. And then you will have a wall here, projecting to the center, which is boring right now, there's nothing. And white will take these points for free, okay? Whereas if we close the corner, white can still do things here, but it's gonna have a lot more trouble. Especially on these levels, because I would say 100% of the people on this level don't know that this is a ko locally. Okay? Or that you can also just make it leave and like whatever. Just don't care about it. And you're still gonna have Sente. Okay? So let's not worry about, you know, the life or death of this, but let's worry about how hard it's gonna be for it to live or die. Whereas here, this is just a Joseki. These two stones are too far to kill or put any pressure on this. Okay? So it's almost like this just weren't here. And we're just playing a Hochi invasion. A Sansan invasion, rather. Okay? So white takes some place here. Again, if your wall's strong, you can jump more. Okay? So you can probably jump as much as this. If black attacks, then you attack. Use the wall to attack, right? This is a little bit small. Black can still do stuff like this. Or this to take a lot of points. Or it can separate to go to the center, etc. Okay? Now, touching here, I don't like it. Because, remember, if there is strength in one direction and in another direction, then this territory is gonna be small for both. So if we touch, and if we make a wall here, okay, I get this, they get this, but that's about it. That it's not gonna be a whole lot. Whereas, what happens if white plays here? What happens if all of this is whites? Like, I would gamble that this is bigger than this that I would make if I touch here. Not just that, but when I contact here, and there is a white wall, black wall, we both do 2 equal squares, let's say. They cancel each other. But this is big. And it doesn't have to be big. Because we can just invade. The Hochi doesn't have the right. The Hochi is the 4/4 has territory underneath. And we can take it away. Okay? So that's why I don't like this contact. Plus, white can say, hey, you know what? Take your territory. I'll take influence in the middle. Now, every fight in the middle, it's gonna be towards me. You can take the territory. I don't care. Take all you want. I'll take the center. The center looks bigger if I have all my friends here. Okay? And that's actually what happened. That is exactly what happened. So, black won this rectangle of points. White has the possibility, it doesn't happen yet, but since it has a wall here, strength here, and a couple stones here, it has a lot of influence. This might turn into territory. Okay? So we need to think about like what is gonna happen. Every time we touch, we need to remember that that's gonna make us both strong. Okay? And if both are strong, how does it look after we finish the exchange? And just think about it conceptually. Don't even read. Just imagine a wall and another wall and how the game feels after those two. Okay? Don't read anything. Just imagine a wall. Black wall here, white block here. Do I like it? Or a wall here and a wall here. Do I like it? Etc. Because remember, white decides whether it does a Hane or an extension. You don't decide that. You are the one touching. You are the one losing a liberty on the first turn of the exchange. Okay? If you don't want to commit that hard, then you can actually just make territory. This is still kind of a bad play, but it doesn't like completely tell white to do something. But again, since there's so much influence, probably going to center is better to reduce white's influence. Okay. Also, alive, because it's all connected, which means this side of the board is boring. Whereas the other side of the board, we don't know what is alive and we don't know what's gonna happen yet. Kinda looks like one side is white, kinda looks like the other is black. But if we take a look at it, like the amount of stones, there's 4 and 4. So whoever gets the 5th stone, it's gonna be big. It almost doesn't matter where you put it, but it's gonna mean a lot. Whereas below, everything's boring. Everything's super boring. There's nothing to do here. This is Jose. Okay, if white goes down, let's say I play here. White goes down, I ignore again. White goes here, I ignore again. Okay, why goes, it doesn't matter. My group is alive. And how many points it's like white making? Like maybe now I start worrying a little bit. I don't know. Like, okay, now I'm alive. And now you come back. White won these points. I won this point. This. Plus the possibility of destroying this center. Okay? If something doesn't kill you on the middle game, you ignore it. Always. Okay? If you have a lot of space to leave, then you don't care about it. In the middle game. So when you reach the end game, when there's not enough space in the board, then you start worrying about those little points. Not before. So same for white here. Although, yeah, let's say there is a little bit of a weakness here in 1 maybe. So I think it's fine for white to answer. But here, white can ignore. I mean, white can go whenever he wants. Just play here. Like this doesn't do anything. Like everything's fine. And now we can attack black. Where is black going to run? To the center? Where all the power is white's? And white can like chase black all this way and build a wall here? No. You don't want to do that fight. So let's see what's happening. Okay, so this is I like this. This is good because again, the center kind of looks white. Now the problem though is that white can just close. And if we close like this, that's kind of a problem. I mean, again, this rectangle bigger than this one. Right? So maybe we have to play a little bit more risky if we want to reduce from the center. Although we can get cut, but you know, try to do something. Now, white answers like this. So something very important we need to remember is that the center is not great to make points, except for the person that has the bigger influence. So here, white has a bigger influence. If white makes a wall here, since he has a lot of friends, all of this is gonna be points. This stone is perfect because it's far away from the wall, meaning it's putting a lot of pressure in an, let's say, like a hypothetical black group that tries to live here. It's gonna be very hard, right? Whereas a black wall here, the stones that make up for this wall are very close. So why am I just like drawing this rectangle here? Because this other rectangle here, this is already blacks. This was black before. So the only rectangle we want here is the rectangle number 2. Okay, so number 1 was already blacks because of all the stones. So if we build this wall here, we're only winning rectangle number 2 of territory. But white is building rectangle number 3, which is huge. Okay? That means we don't want to go this way. And again, I really recommend you to do this in your games. Just imagine walls. Don't read anything. Don't read, oh, stone here, stone there, stone here. No. Don't read anything. Not yet. You don't need to read anything yet. Just imagine the walls. If we touch each other, we're gonna make walls. If both walls get constructed, who gets the bigger country? Right? That's not fair. That's not fair. So we need to push this way. If white tries to push towards us, it doesn't matter. We already have side. And there's little points in the center. We don't want points in the center. We want fights. So we can reduce white's influence. If white, like, and we are ahead too. If white wants to enter, okay, you can enter. I entered too. Because if we both close, I'm gonna have the lower end, like the smaller end of the stick. So we need to maybe both enter. Okay? So if we close like this, we're gonna have trouble. That's exactly what happened. Who gets the bigger side after the wall? And remember, this was already yours. So the only new stuff, this is the new stuff. N. But why got this new N? Right? Because this wasn't white yet. This is big power, but it's not necessarily white yet. It's really hard to kill one. It is extremely hard to kill it. Okay? It has ways to run. Like in high level, it will probably die. Okay? But I think on this level, you can probably do something about it. Okay? So we close like this. And again. So let's say here. Alive. A. Alive. B. And strong. I'm probably alive too. C. Everything else, we're gonna call D. It's open. It's open, that means someone can live inside, pretty much. Okay? Or make more points if the opponent doesn't live there. So we have to play outside of ABC. We cannot do anything on ABC. Every move on ABC is a bad move at this point. Okay? We have to ignore these places. We have to go somewhere else. Somewhere open. Or close something that is open. Okay. Like maybe now we want to close here. I don't know, or enter on this side, etc. We cannot keep playing locally. There's nothing here. This is literally like 2 points maybe, at best. Same with white. Just reinforce this. What if black goes inside? I cover. There's no problem. Zero problem. Okay? Or invade, maybe. Always think, when can I ignore? Okay? This is very important. I feel like this is an exercise that we have to do on our games. So I don't actually know at which speed we are playing our games here. I don't know if these are like fast games or normal games, but they still play fast. Use your time. Use your time if you're playing like longer games. Give yourself at least 5 seconds per play. At least. Like, never answer before 5 seconds. Never. I'm being very serious. Like, even if you know what's the play, still wait for the 5 seconds. Like, at worst, you're thinking about the next one, right? And read less. You don't need to read too much on this level, but think more. You know, like, read less, think more. Like what we're talking about, the walls. Let's just put a wall there. Don't even put stones. Just put up like a black line, a white line. See how it looks. See if you like it. If you don't like it, then let's do something else. If you like it, then let's do it. And then when you start putting more stones, then you will see if you can read or not what's going to happen. Okay? But you have to put that time. Never play immediately. And every time you play, think about it. Do I need to play here? And by need, I mean, is someone going to die? Either me or my opponent. If nobody dies, then don't play there. As simple as that. Okay? Again, nobody dies here if I ignore. There's nothing. There's literally nothing. I lost 3 points. But then this zone is like 10 points. If it leaves, right? And it's going to leave because San under 4-4 always leaves. If the stones are far away. Like, this stone is far away. So it's always going to leave. Is there a cut here? There might be a cut. I think I would like something like this, but I don't mind repairing it. Now here. Is someone going to die here? No one is going to die. So we ignore it. This is bigger. Let's say white enters. Okay, I push. Let's say white enters. I push again. White enters. I push again. Towards the center. White takes my stones. No, it doesn't. It can't because there's no weaknesses. Okay, white goes like this. Okay, now I start closing maybe. And yeah, white took a lot. But I mean, if black lives here, there's just no points here. Like, I can cover here, let's say. Maybe we play like this. I know this. I don't expect anyone to read this far, by the way. but I want to illustrate this concept of you're taking a bigger result than them. Because if they enter this small square, but this square is massive compared to that. Okay? So remember, middle game, every time you are on the middle game, think about it. Does this kill anything? No? Then I'll ignore it. Okay? And then we can extend that thought a little bit, which is not really just, does this kill something? But I'll actually also like, does this make my group weaker, for example? Okay, so a move like this, it doesn't kill anything, but also doesn't make anyone weaker. My position's still as strong as it was before. I'm just losing a couple points. If a move is like that, I will ignore it in the middle game. I want you to use those 5 seconds on each of your moves. At least 3 of those seconds have to be, does this kill me? Does this make me weak? If not, I will ignore it. And the other 2 seconds will be your next move. Or whatever you want, okay? It can be as many seconds as you want, but minimum 5 every time, okay? That's a promise. All right? Because I bet you're not playing like 10-second blitz. And even if you are, then you have 10 seconds. You have more than 5, okay? Okay, so we finally invade. So let's talk about invasions. So we have big influence here. So it's hard to invade, but possible. Big influence here, hard to invade, but possible. So where do we invade? And usually we can think about just the fundamental principle of Go, which is corner, side, center, in that order. It's always in that order because corner is the easiest way to make eyes. And that means it's the easiest way to make a shape that is alive, and only shapes that are alive will give you points, right? So that means if we're looking for big spaces, we're looking for the biggest ones. And even though this, looks kind of bigger, quote unquote, than this, it's actually harder to leave just because it's side instead of corner. Okay? Now, I still wouldn't mind something like this, for example. It's still like not that easy to leave, but it's probably doable. Like, if they cover here, then you have a base, and you might be able to leave here. If they attack you from the other side, then I told you before there is a weak point here on the Koizumi when there is a pillar. So we can probably look at moves like this, maybe, and start a fight, etc. Now, if you want to keep it simple, you can always just play here. Again, Sansan Invasion. This is something that is good theory to know. That is, if there are not close zones, Sansan Invasion always lives. 200%. It cannot die. It's impossible to die. Okay? So if you want to play it to, get points away from your opponent and you don't mind the wall, it's always fine. Okay? If there is a Chimari like this, then locally is a Ko, but a lot of the time you're gonna be allowed to leave anyways. Okay? Especially on this level. On this level, you're probably never gonna die anyways. So you can still try it. Double Chimari is locally dead, but it's also a trick play. Like a professional Go player, I have a simultaneous match against a professional, and she played me this trick move, and she actually was able to leave because I didn't know the whole sequence, and I'm 2Q. So just so you know, it can work on a match. So what I'm trying to say is that living in the corner, it's like a great option in a lot of levels. So here you can just take the corner. Or maybe touch, If you touch, usually what happens is that white on this might take the corner here. But maybe we can play like this and like try to live here, I don't know, on the side, etc. There is enough space to live. But here on the side is a little bit harder. Now let's see what happens. Okay, so we're touching a lot. That's actually, I like that. Because when you touch, you're telling white you have to defend, right? Now here, this is better. So this is something very common. If you have to connect like a row of stones with a stone that is alone, a lot of the time we just think about the solid connection, but this is also very solid. Now if white pushes is on Atari, so I have the next move to defend the cut. And if white doesn't defend the Atari, well, I take the stone. Now you have two weaknesses here. You can't keep attacking all the time. Something's going to happen. Something's gonna go wrong if you just keep attacking. That means white needs to defend. And then, I don't know, we can do I shape in the corner, whatever. So, a lot of the time, this is gonna be better. This also puts pressure towards the corner, which if I get the corner, I'll get free eyes. So, a lot of the time is, instead of just connecting, you can do that. Now, connecting is not wrong here at all, by the way, because you can Hane exactly. So, it's fine. Now, this doesn't work, right? We know that, right? Because this is a ladder. It's not just a ladder, it's a geta. Even better than a ladder. It's a net. Why? Because we have a big wall here. So we can do stronger capture techniques. So this doesn't work. White is trying to do it to force this stone. But the thing is, if you want to play that, you can just play this. If you want to play one, like 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You can just play 3 immediately a lot of the time. I don't know if I prefer capturing or going down here. I feel like going down is stronger because this is capture. There's nothing that we can do here. And again, if we can keep going towards this direction, is usually good. But capturing is probably fine. I'm just worried about the call. Well, is there a call? No, there's not really a call. No, this is kind of bad for white. Or maybe it's fine. I'm worried about the Atari, not the call, the Atari. Just a little bit. Like, I'm not sure what happens. White probably doesn't want to do a call, though. So, it's whatever. So yeah, this is a little slow playing here immediately. Sometimes you can play here. This works too. Like a jump from the wall, because if white does this, 1, 2, it still needs to go back. Although I guess it can descend. It's probably fine. I mean, you're gonna leave anyways, so it's fine. Now here, this one, because there's a double Atari, and the corner is always bigger than the side. So when white fixes either here or here, if it fixes here, you push again. Because there's weaknesses. This side smaller because you have to go back. Making eye shape smaller because you can just do it like this. Okay, extend first, then think about eye shape. Here you're thinking about eye shape like you were surrounded, but you are not surrounded yet because there is a weakness here. You're not surrounded at all, so you can think about other things. I think same here. I think you're alive already. This is probably better. If you want to be alive, just make another eye. Why not? Okay, white fixes. You are alive. There's no way to die. And if you don't know if you're alive, then extend first. Make it bigger. Make your brain think less about Sumegos. Okay? If you have more space, then it's harder for them to kill. And this is more points than this. Okay? If you have your 2 eyes, then it's alive. Let's close the corner. So there are no invasions or close here. Okay? There is no way to die here. Remember, 1, 2, 3. These are 3 eyes. This is actually a dame. This is not even a point. Like, this would be a point. Because it takes 1 point from white. Right? But this is a dame. This is a pass. Because otherwise, if we get to Yose, white cannot do this. It's a self-Atari. White has to close like this. So this is literally a dame point. So in situations like this is when I want you to use those 5 seconds you're using on every move. Okay? Every single move. 5 seconds. If you don't spend 5 seconds on one move, then you resign. Okay? That's what we're gonna do. Very important. Okay, so white tries to enter. Again, just for, like, we're not gonna go into this on this class, but you can do this, this, and this, and it's always connected. Okay? In this case, you can probably do something like this to force black. And then even this. Because Bam Bam is connected. Okay? So there's a lot of ways to cause damage here. And why is that? Because black decided to close a space that is very close to a wall. And that's almost always inefficient. Unless you come back to defend it. Like a second time. But remember, we already played a triangle stone on the middle game. And that stone cost points somewhere. Okay? So, okay, everything's close now. So this is a good moment to finish the game. Or to defend here. Okay? No weaknesses. When you have so many friends, there are no weaknesses. This is a ladder. Okay, that's probably a bad Atari. But this, it's not even a ladder actually. It's a self. It turns into a self Atari. It's just Atari towards your stones. Okay, there's an extra liberty here that helps this the triangle stones. So there's nothing to worry about there. Look for eye shape. Like, this is probably fine, but I don't want to think about this. Okay? Like, again, it's definitely fine. It's probably fine. I actually don't even know if it's fine. Maybe it's a call. But again, just eye shape. The same thing happened with this. This stone is much better here. This one, we only use it when we don't want Kodates. Kothrets, sorry, in English. But here, the group is so small that I really don't want to think about its life. So I'm fine leaving 2 Kothrets. Like, it doesn't even look like there's gonna be a call in this game, so who cares? Just make eye shape. Oh, that actually happened. Yep. But yeah, white descended, so this is just alive. But yeah, the one I'm worried about is this one. This one can be a little bit nasty. Because maybe you can just play like this. Is that a Seki or not? That kind of looks like a Seki. Because black has a difficult time making a shape that is alive. But if you try to kill white, you die because you make a dead shape. So this might be a Koseki depending on how you want to play it. One point. Much better. This is a ladder. There's nothing here. So there's nothing to fix. Remember, a cut is not a cut if you can eat the stone. So there's nothing to defend there. And now this is the problem. So how do we kill this? Because the thing is, there is still a lot of space. So this is a situation where it might leave. I'm trying to read it, but it's hard. But the thing is, there's so much strength close to it that maybe there's like no way for it to leave. But let's see how the situation looks. So we're gonna play here, okay. So we leave a cut, so we need to fix the cut. So that's fine. Now we're playing here, and here's the thing. So where are the eyes of this? Is the only eyes this can make are here, right? And it's true that we have a cut, but that cut is not that bad considering all the strength we have here. We can actually leave this cut because it doesn't lead to eyes. So this cut is different from this cut. This cut leads to eyes if it captures. But this one doesn't. Because every time I extend, I get closer to friends. I don't get closer to the line of death. But I get closer to the line of friends. Right? This is the line of friends. And even this, right? So if I get attack and like my opponent sends me towards there, I'm safe. So by fixing this, here we can actually ignore. We can play something like this. And ask white, where are your eyes? If white closes, where are your eyes? Okay, I'm going to attack you. Oh, but my friends are here. You can attack me. I have so many friends. What are you gonna do? So many friends. There's just nothing you can do. I'm just gonna connect with my friends. Okay, I keep connecting with my friends. What are you gonna do? Where are your eyes? Are you gonna disconnect me? No, I connect with my friends. And here's the magic. This group is dead. This is called the L group. And it's dead. As is. Even if it plays again, it's dead. Okay, so this is theory for another class. Because it's been too much already. And we should be finishing by now. But this is a shape that is dead. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is that, yeah, this started very, very good. Because you fixed the first cut, which is important because it leads to eyes. But since we have so many friends, this is a very specific situation where we have big strength here. Then there are certain cuts we don't need to fix. And we can actually keep attacking in this situation. I said when we were here that we don't want to just keep attacking. That's because the friends were kind of far away. They were farther away. And the corner wasn't claimed yet. But here, they are trying to go for the corner, and everything else is friends. So we can go a little bit harder on it. Okay? I'm not saying this is gonna work, by the way, but I'm trying to illustrate options. Okay? Just that. So yeah, that's it for today's class.